This is what I'm training you to be like. The four horsemen of the apocalypse. Warriors, not whiners. Mr. Carnegie was a hard bastard. Vanderbilt was a hard bastard. Henry Ford I was a hard bastard. Rockefeller was a hard bastard. Steve Jobs was a ruthless hard bastard. As Apple CEO Cook regularly begins sending emails at 4:30 in the morning on Sunday, he's a hard bastard. Why are all these guys that changed the world got one thing in common? They're tough as nails, ruthless, take no prisoners. And then we got you, a stiff drink and a good could kill most people in this room. I'm ashamed to say. In fact, forget the stiff drink, just a good. My proceeds from PayPal acquisition were 180 million, blah, 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 blah. Then I had to borrow money for rent. These guys, myself included, are all in. If they believe in what they're doing, they put all their money at risk, which I have several times, not in recent years. SpaceX worker reveals a brutal company motto helped him survive all-nighters working for Elon Musk. Notorious workaholic Elon Musk is so tied to his office that he's been known to sleep on the floor. I slept on the floor. Ford slept on the floor. Jobs slept on the floor. Gates slept on the floor. Success leaves clues, you weenies. I still work 50, 60 hours a week, and I haven't had to work in 35 years.
Does that look like your group? No, it doesn't look like your group. I mean, in no way, shape, manner, or form. You know, maybe if we had a bunch of bunny rabbits running there, it's unbelievable. But again, you are who you hang around with, you know? And as Oprah Winfrey says, and which I talk about a lot, is that you want people with a like mind and that are better than you, smarter than you, more intelligent than you to get on your bus. And don't be so concerned about what you're going to do with those people, but you want to, you know, the joint brain is, you know, there's nothing the joint brain, collective brain, or brains can't overcome. And I give the example of the atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project, and they were put together and they were told, we need to develop a weapon of mass destruction, which they didn't call it that back in those days, in the middle 40s, to end the war in the Pacific. And they did. They didn't know if it was implode or explode, but they did. But if your team doesn't look like that, then you should, I won't say you should give serious thought, you should just change.
This is what I'm training you to be like. The four horsemen of the apocalypse. Warriors, not whiners, not warriors. You think Donald Trump's a whiner? You think he worries and gives up what you think of him? You think Elon Musk gives up what you think of him? You think the late Steve Jobs gave a what you thought of him? You think Bill Gates gives a and I can go on and on and on. The only one that gives a is you and you and you and the morons on YouTube. And Josh was he had a 60-hour-a-week job, and he was doing QLA 70 hours a week. That doesn't give him much room for sleep, does it? But you'll say, well, he was 17, 18. You don't need sleep when you're 17, 18. You already got a reason why you can't work 130, 40 hours a week, that you need sleep. He cut back to 3 hours a night sleep, the guy you just listened to, and Dan, he couldn't take it. He only lasted a few weeks at 3 hours a night sleep, and so he had to go back to 4 hours. When you know, it's like when you were in lust with that person, you know, you wanted to f*** all night in the toilet, in the car, in the closet. When you figure out that every hour you sleep, you're not making money, you'll never sleep again. What are you going to tell your children? What are you going to tell your grandchildren? 20 years from now, Daddy, Grandpa, what were you doing during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the planet? Other than having your thumb up your ass. What are you going to tell them? Oh, I was thinking about it. I was spreadsheeting it. I'm proud to say I haven't done a spreadsheet in 10, 15 years. Go read another book. Go listen to another, read a blog, listen to a podcast. This young kid that came to me a year and a half ago, his goal, his dream in his life was to finish #1 university champion archer in Britain. What's the best you've ever done? 20th in a regional meet, he says to me. So we set up a program and I beat him like a rented mule. That's him receiving the first place a couple months ago in Britain. The little skinny, he looks like a little Nimrod snowflake, because he is. But he was firing 600-700 arrows a day. Most of you couldn't fire 50. Most of you in this room have never been held accountable for anything in your life. And look at the results.
As soon as we got tougher, as soon as we got less PC, as soon as we got that we didn't care what they said or thought about us, we got more successful. And we started doing deals. You cannot do, a lot of transactions without hurting feelings. The old saying about to make an omelet, you got to break eggs. And everybody that's ever had an omelet, there's normally some kind of eggshell in it because they can't get all the eggshell out. Collateral damage. Fred Smith, the founder of Federal Express, said, and he's similar background, similar age. He was a young Marine officer. I was a young Army officer. He said when he came back from Vietnam, as soon as he realized his mistakes, the collateral damage of his mistakes did not end up with body bags, meaning dead people. He says the rest was easy. So the worst I was ever going to do is hurt somebody's feelings, make them cry. And he built Federal Express, and he's one of the icons of business who's still running the business. The thing that always amuses me is that the current day movies and stuff, at the end of the movie, normally the people reconcile. That's not my experience. The higher performer, the higher the performance person, the less probability that they're going to reconcile with anybody. Why? Because they don't need anybody. And almost all the big hitters I know, and President Trump is a primary example of this, a preeminent example. Saying sorry is a weakness. Apologizing is a weakness. Saying you were wrong was a weakness. What do I say? I may be wrong, but I'm never in doubt. Every I know. Which flies in the face of all the bullshit now. President Trump doubles down, triples down. I don't know if you can quadruple down, but, and that's my experience with those guys and the few really high-powered women that I've known. So again, it flies in the face of virtually everything you've been taught. If you had to keep track of 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, what you do, you would be shocked, astounded, overwhelmed, or as they say in Britain, gobsmacked, how much time you waste. And I make them keep track of every minute of the day. Every minute of the day. And it's not easy. It's not easy. When you find out, I have people that have come through the seminar that spend 20 hours a day walking in the fresh air and meditating. 20 hours a week, excuse me, not a day. 20 hours a week. And they don't get anything done. And they don't feel relaxed.